ethical standards for the paralegal. And what happens when there's a violation of this, okay? Number one is unauthorized practice of law. What does that mean? You're giving legal advice, but you're not licensed in the U.S. I'm talking about the U.S. only. You're not licensed to give that advice. Only attorneys in the U.S. are allowed to give legal advice. So even if you know the answers, you can't give that advice when it is legal advice. If it's something like the time of a hearing, like when do I have to be there? You're sending documents to the client and you're letting him or her know, that's something totally different. That's part of your administrative tasks, but there's a big separation there. You can't cross that line, even if you know the answer, because you have not been licensed by your state bar as an attorney. Remember this. Paralegals in the U.S. cannot cross that line, okay? You could get fined. You could lose your career. So number two, professional competency and personal integrity. Twofold here. Competency is how well do you do your job. Now, when you're a beginner, you're just learning, but you're going to learn very quickly. That's why I tell you to have your trusty notebook ready to go right here, and write down the things that you're learning and categorize it. Is it about documents you learned how to do and all that? And pretty soon you will have a notebook full of information that is yours. This is yours to keep. It's your private notebook. And learn all you can. We never stop learning. And personal integrity is honor. Take the high road. Act as a professional. Follow the rules. And don't compromise that. Even if an attorney asks you to not follow the rules, don't break those rules. Number three, confidentiality. When you're working on a case and you're the only paralegal assigned with an attorney to work on the case, there might be two attorneys on that case, you don't share that information with other paralegals in the firm. It's a private matter. Now, if you need them to help you go over a document and proofread it together, just to make sure you've caught any and all errors, that's something different. But I'm talking about confidentiality in gossiping about the client, talking about the details of the case. It's nobody else's business. It's not your family and friends' business either. You have to keep a confidence and keep that within the law firm, but more so if there's no overlap and there are no other paralegals involved in that law firm. I've worked in a law firm where we did personal injury and bankruptcy. I didn't do bankruptcy at that point. I worked on personal injury cases. I should never talk to the bankruptcy paralegal about these cases. That's breaking confidentiality. Okay, so number four, conflict of interest. This is an interesting one. If you're in a law firm, and remember this, you're working on business law, and you prepare cases for trial, and people are suing each other, and so you leave that firm and you go work at another firm that specializes in the same thing. You should talk to the attorney. The attorney should talk to you about this. Look through you should bring it up if they don't. You should see a list of all their cases. Do any of the cases ring a bell to you? If so, you may not be allowed to work on that case. Why? Because you worked on the other side of it at another law firm. Be very aware of conflicts of interest. And number five is disclose who you are. When you are talking with a client for the first time, they don't know who you are. They don't know if you're an attorney. They don't even know the word paralegal means sometimes. And you can say to the client, you know, Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so or Miss, I just want to let you know I'm so-and-so's paralegal. I'm not an attorney. And disclose that, okay? Now, when I talk about unauthorized practice of law, number one, it doesn't always just mean giving legal advice when you are not supposed to, but it could be that you haven't told the client that you're a paralegal and not an attorney, and you are establishing I'll call it a fake attorney-client relationship, because the general public doesn't really understand what a paralegal is. They might think you're an attorney. You have to get that on the table that you're not. And also in the same number one about unauthorized practice of law, you cannot quote fees to the client ever. Okay? Let me see if there's anything else that I need to cover. Oh, number two, where we talked about professional competency and personal integrity. Never accept gifts from a client. You know, they want to give you a gift card. They want to give you a check as a thank you. You have to say no to that nicely. Number three, where we talked about being quiet and not sharing information regarding the client's case, that would be violating client privilege. Do not share info. Just get into that whole thing, unless there are several paralegals working on the same case. And in one law firm, that was the case with me, in a very small law firm. So that is it for this video. I wanted to do a longer video on this. It's really hard to do a short one. I will do a short one just listing the issues, but I wanted you to know, like, you can get fined. You can get fined. In one case, the judge, where the paralegal did not divulge that they were not an attorney, the judge made the paralegal pay all the attorney fees that were incurred. And that paralegal had to pay all that. So be very aware of this. If you haven't been taught this, that you take the high road, but there are some things you should know not to do. And these are good things to write down, and then make sure you don't cross the line, okay, on any of this. All right, so have a great day. Don't forget to go to paralegalcoffeetalk.com, join the free Paralegal Resource Hub today, and look under every tab on the website. The link is always below. I'll put it there in a few minutes. And look at the cover letter secrets tab as well, because that is how you're going to get your foot in the door and get to the top of the applicant pile by learning how to do a knock it out of the park cover letter. I give you templates. There are 6 videos in this class. So go to paralegalcoffeetalk.com and look under cover letter secrets class, but join the Paralegal Resource Hub today. That's free. Look under every tab. The book I wrote, Legal Break-In, here's a copy of it right here. It's on Amazon, and you'll see the tab for that too on the website. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Take care.